9 should be recording now, hopefully.
You
So
got it to work this time.
yeah, hopefully this isn't black, and if you see nothing, I'm sad on the inside. But, so, pretty much what was going to be a podcast styled video wound up being nothing but void footage. So I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasted your time on that. It just didn't want to record didn't want to record our little cameras just to make sure it's fucking doing it. Okay, it's doing it. Good. We'll be fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aqua. You should know that if you're on YouTube watching me right now. I stream on Twitch, which eventually I'm going to stream a D&D campaign live on Twitch. But today, I have joining me a friend of mine named Jinx who plays Scarlet, otherwise known as, what was it, Autumn Valentine?
It's mostly just Scarlet Valentine, but Autumn Valentine is her new actual name.
So pretty
But no
much
one's
this
gonna call her
is
that.
Scarlet, aka Valentine. She was a blood hunter rogue turned blood hunter paladin, and in this D&D we have currently running. By the time you see this, we should be in the middle of our session. By the time it's up, at least by the time this is live. By the time you see this, if you're in the future, I'm sorry. This is no longer a thing. But pretty much, this is Jinx. Jinx, you can introduce yourself.
Hi. I don't have really an introduction. I'm sorry if you hear pants and me saying fuck and shit and you motherfucker. I'm killing the female Titan from Attack on Titan.
So, so pretty much, Jinx is wasting time playing Attack on Titan until the
I'm not.
campaign
Yeah,
starts.
yeah. Until D&D, this is what I'm doing, and I
Yeah,
will not stop
that's
until I
fine.
kill this fucking thing.
So I have a couple plans for this little podcast style uh, little release. I'm planning on doing this with you, this solo one with you, solo one with Soul again because the last one just went to hell, and then I plan on doing one with Shaggy, then you and Soul together, then Soul and Shaggy, and then so on and so forth. Pretty much this is going to be in between sessions. We're going to talk about stuff, and hopefully we will get to. This is pretty much just talk to the DM, get to learn the world a little bit better, and I'm going to be actually doing one of these alone in private at some point, and it's pretty much just going to be like a stream that might pop up on my Twitch channel if I get that all set up. If I do, you'll see it somewhere in the description, hopefully. And by the time this is up, hopefully I'll set up a playlist, and that will also be in the description. So this is pretty much known as the Shattered Realms Isekai D&D campaign. Or fuck around, find out the campaign.
Yeah. Have you already explained how we started it?
Well, I did that with Soul, but I'm not
Yeah.
uploading something that doesn't have video footage with it
Yeah, understandable.
because
Because
I
it's no
don't.
fun.
Yeah, I don't want it to be boring, even though I am boring.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But so, as Valentine did just say, um, this whole D&D campaign originally started as a joke. It was just meant to be for shits and giggles, And then I started taking it seriously. And once I started taking it seriously, I'm pretty sure the players noticed, aka Jinx and Soul noticed that I started taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So
All
originally,
fun and games until.
it's all fun and games until I was actually like, you know what? This is a very creative concept. I'm not gonna do a joke about it. But of course, there's still gonna be like your average shit post on it,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't expect this to go anywhere really. Like
Ooh.
I don't mean the campaign. I expect the campaign to go wonders. But I don't
Oh
expect
yeah.
what I'm doing currently to go anywhere at all. Maybe a view or two at most. But even still, if I do get a view, that means somebody's willing to watch something like this. So whoever you are, thank you. Now, um, Jinx.
Yes.
So I've got a couple questions that I asked Soul that I'll be asking you, and you are right with that.
Yep.
The first question, I didn't ask him this because I know the answer to it already. When did you first start playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Actually, I think it was around the time we talked about this because we had, or no, it was either beforehand or it was, no, it was after I had already started the one at my college. It was maybe a couple weeks after, I think.
So,
But yeah.
with that answer, I am going to segue into the next question. So, I'm going to give a little context to this. So, when I was talking to Shaggy, he pretty much asked, who do we have on board with this? I misread it and thought, like, the characters, but I know what he actually meant now. Well, I've known it for a while. He pretty much asked, who do we have along with us? And I gave him a description. I gave him the names of each character and pretty much a basic description of them. So, out of the group, if you were to give people jobs like Soul, Scout, Angel, Scout, Leader, whatnot, what would you give your character, Sonya, Angel, and Sam?
Uh, okay, well, I'd say uh, Soul is definitely the leader.
The one that can make
Like,
decisions.
yeah, he makes all of our decisions, basically. Um, uh, see, Sonya is the, I guess, jack of all trades, maybe. Like, there's a lot of stuff like she can do. Um,
She's a well-rounded character.
yeah, I'm gonna die doing this. Sorry. Sam is our strategist. Like, I'm pretty sure Sam would be the strategist.
Yeah, you guys just have to ask her from now on.
Yeah. And I don't know Shaggy's character like whatsoever.
Well, Shaggy's pretty much you'll figure him out in the campaign today, but pretty much as it stands, what jobs would you give, including your own character?
Oh, my character. Shit. What would I give my character? I don't even really know that answer to that. I don't know. I was a scout. I was planning to kind of be a bit of a powerhouse, like really fucking like decently strong.
Well, as I as I've stated to you, over time you'll be able to pretty much become this powerhouse. It's just at the moment you won't have the strength for this. But later down the line,
Yeah.
you'll probably be dealing as much damage as the big bad end guy does.
God. I'm sorry.
That's just a shot in the foot.
Yeah.
I don't know what D&D has in store for us from here on, but as I previously stated in the last the last time I recorded this, but yes. Anyways, I'm over it, I swear. No hard feelings with the S. There's a lot of hard
Oh.
feelings. So, another question I have. How did you enjoy this, pretty much the swap of reality? So, we've gone
uh,
from basically Skyrim styled magical bullshittery to this, like, One Piece styled planet.
it's pretty cool. It's a really good idea because it opens a lot of doors. Like if in case we ever somehow manage to get more players, and they can come from anywhere and have like any personality. They don't have to be like, oh, we don't say that because it's not part of this like era. Like how ours is, we're just set in like the medieval or like back in like D&D times,
Yeah, you
and so
guys
we
were
don't like
pretty
make
much
funny
like
jokes as much.
you guys were pretty much like shot into like the characters of where you guys were on the previous planet, which I've actually named Florosa because due to the amount of flowery fields that it has, that's why it has that name. But the main thing is I originally wanted this planet after, realizing that I actually want to take it seriously. I actually wanted to give different planets different aspects and ideas. So the first one I was just running off of basic D&D, so it was as D&D as you can get. This next one's going
Yeah.
to be more One Piece, so there's going to be like special powers, like what Soul's character has obtained, which is the Quake fruit. There's other abilities. I have a list of like 400 something different fruit powers that you guys can always just grab, pretty much.
Mhm.
There's
Really
also
like that. I really like this style of having like anime based area or based places and stuff.
a cyberpunk slash Attack on Titan styled place that you guys will be able to go to. And what I mean by Attack on Titan slash cyberpunk based is people will have cybernetic enhancements, but their weaponry will pretty much be more Attack on Titan style.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
hmm And I can't wait to do stuff like that because Attack on Titan mainly was just zip around, fly around, cut things, and then it turned into a murder mystery, and now it's World War II, the sequel. But I I can't wait to see where you guys go with this next campaign. And segueing from that, Jinx, what do you think about the new thing that I'm doing with my Discord status?
Answer that again. Sorry.
What do you think about the new thing that I'm doing with my Discord status? Adding
Uh,
hints to the next campaigns.
um, I think it's a pretty good idea. It makes us have to actually do something and like involves us in still like day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And it could yield different, interesting results. See who actually pays attention and who doesn't, and who remembers what, and if someone's gonna like withhold information or something like that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how doing this like affects the campaign as well. Because this me involving stuff like this, and I see that you're here. I'm just gonna ramble on for now, but pretty much I've at the moment I started adding like little hints to future sessions in my status, and honestly, I think I'm gonna enjoy doing this because this will show me who pays attention, who doesn't pay attention, as Jinx previously stated, and this will also just allow me to like put down some ideas and give hints to my players as to what they should expect. And I think stuff like that, like world building without the players, is always a great thing to do, despite people wanting to only continue D&D when there's the players.
Yeah.
Segueing from that, what do you think about my sudden change of style that I'm doing, where it's not going to be as much of it's not going to be as much improv as it was previously, where I'm going to now actually be planning a lot more stuff out.
It's a good idea. Because having improv, like, it's fun and all, but you can't just improv, like, because then things kind of can end up getting out of hand and like straying away from the story. Whereas with planning, you can keep track, make sure you're with the story and everything. But still having that improv there is a good thing. So you're not just like, oh, we're only story based.
Story strictly and nothing else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And all those
Jinx.
improv moments are always fun.
Jinx.
Yep.
If Final were to just not want to continue playing this D&D session, what do you think about a like a replacement NPC, or do you think we should get another player to replace her?
Um, it would be good to have like another player so that it's not just like kind of filled in by either you or someone else.
25
But while
NPCs, 4 players.
yeah. Um, now I will say I have characters like if Final did drop out, I have a character that I've been wanting to use or I want to use because I made them and I was just like, these would actually be quite fun to use because it's a ranger warforged ranger who's going to be kind of a steampunk theme kind of thing. And I was planning on having him have wings and stuff and like so it would be like some just like steampunky and because I like steampunk and
Well, I'll say something. Just so you know, there is a planet that is going to be steampunk themed. I haven't, I
okay if
haven't,
there
I haven't gotten the name yet. I haven't finished designing it, but there is a planet and it is steampunk based. I've been planning on doing something steampunky for a while now, and this type of campaign allows me to pretty much just be as creative as I want.
yeah
Design my world how I want to design it.
yeah and that would be nice to be able to actually use said character like maybe we could have Scarlet be out of commission for some reason and I can take control of it use him like we find him like on the side of the road or something and he's like here I'll help you.
Whatever we do with it, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to make do with what happens.
Yeah.
So, segueing from that, how do you like my ability as a DM to be able to control a split party, being able to do stuff off the fly as comparatively to other DMs that don't do stuff like that?
Uh, I actually love it. It's amazing because it allows for like everyone to still be included, so that you're not like having one person sit out for an extended period of time. Because in my in-person session, I couldn't do anything for like 3 sessions.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
I
basically
remember that.
useless. Yeah, I was just there basically because my DM refused to run 2 different places, and it was just like, here, you're captured, and they have to save you, and now I'm just kind of in a place where I don't want to be, and so it's really inconvenient.
So, going off of that, as I asked Soul and he gave his opinion on it, what did you think about the little banter when you guys were fighting Watson in his little mayor mansion?
Uh, oh, where yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
remember now. Yeah, I find that fucking hilarious.
Like, I love doing stuff like that because it's D&D. There's a lot of combat, and combat a lot. If it's a really long combat like it was, it's painful, and I want to try to give my players a reason to want to stick around.
Yeah, a little comic relief.
Yeah, a little comic relief ain't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
It's not something I want to do often. It's just something that, like, if it's a long, grueling combat, I want some sort of comic relief, and I'll figure out a way to write it in. But
Yeah.
with that being said, Jinx. So when Valentine, aka Scarlet, went through this little soul search / transformation, right? What? This is just like a question from the DM to you. What do you plan on doing with Valentine from here?
I don't know. Really.
So I'm keeping this fast paced because we have like an hour now. So pretty much I want to ask when it came down to like your little movies, right? I'm sad I couldn't do a long one with you. You got busy. But what do you think about my little side sessions that I do?
I'm sorry, I did it.
Congrats. But
Okay, anyway, say that again.
what do you think about my little side sessions I do?
Oh yeah, those are definitely like a good thing. So people aren't. So it's not just, oh, well, now we just have to wait until like our next session, and it's like such a long period of time. Is some people forget stuff, and it's good. It's good to keep people involved so that they'll want to come back for that next session.
So let me bring up like a little situation for you, alright? So let's just say that this happens in the D&D sessions some point down the line, right? So Scarlet gets kidnapped, and for this, if that happens, and if it's something that I wanted to do, like when I did the whole you got kidnapped and turned into a vampire thing, um, what did you what would you do if I kind of kept you out, but I kept telling you pretty much what's happening to you in private? Like, if what would you
Some
do? As in, like, I mean that
so,
as in, like, if I kept you updated as to what's happening with you, giving you options and whatnot that you would like to do, and try to change whatever's happening to you. How would you feel about if stuff like that happened instead of like properly splitting the party for like an entire session?
so like splitting every people up and then letting us know, like
Like
I don't know, I'm trying to.
you I don't think you've ever watched One Piece, but pretty much they had like a 2 year gap between where they like lost a fight and then they went training for pretty much 2 years. And
Oh, so like Attack on Titan did
yeah,
between like each season or almost each season.
between like I'll use season 4. If you haven't watched it yet, please watch Attack on Titan.
Oh,
It
I
is a
have.
good anime.
Oh no, I have. Don't
I
worry, I'm
love
completely
Attack
caught
on
up.
Titan. I'm just saying that to whoever watches this.
Oh,
Please watch
yeah,
Attack on
yeah, yeah.
Titan. It's a good anime, and I'm telling you, you will like it. This is no
Oh yeah, it
longer
is
a threat.
awesome. This is no longer a threat.
No, but seriously, if you like anime and you like something with a decent story, and you like a good mixture of story and combat and / fight scenes, Attack on Titan is your anime. And just make sure you have a good stomach, because it is gory.
Oh yeah.
But similar to Attack on Titan season 4, where Eren appears pretty much. I forget the place he was at, but pretty much for that whole time where he was just there and nobody knew it was Eren. Stuff like that were to happen, like you were to get sent to, let's say, a prison compound or so on and so forth, and I'll give you some options and whatnot. What would you do if I gave you stuff like that?
That would be actually pretty interesting. Like, so I can go my own way while the whole party is like doing their own thing. So like, I can find out my own stuff and everything.
Yeah. Um. So, with
Motherfucker.
with that being said, uh, so William,
Mhm.
we that character that I made. Um, what do you think about? Do you think that I did like the death right? You weren't there for the death, but do you think that I served it justice when we had the actual campaign session, and I had you guys go and pay your final respects? Besides you, you're the only one that didn't, but respects were paid for you.
Um, yeah, it was a good way of doing it. And I'm sure that as time goes on, we'll find more characters and they might die, and we'll have to have those moments.
It's D&D.
But it's
Characters
good to have.
die. Characters will die whenever, and it's not like it's a thing that you can properly avoid sometimes. Sometimes it's just the DM
Yeah,
wanting to kill off a character and change someone else for the better or
yeah,
worse of the group. And I'm not gonna do that just specifically to you guys. I just saw that, you guys are strong enough. You guys will no longer need William to be with you, so I'm gonna kill him off. And before I did that, I wanted to make some changes to the party, noticing, especially Soul's character. Soul's backstory is pretty much he was a World War II veteran and he was a bard, which pretty much made no sense to me. So I
yeah,
turned him into a fighter instead.
yeah.
Now, I want your opinion and your takes on. So, this is what I asked Saul. Looking back at the 6 sessions that we've had under our belts as main sessions, right? It's round
Yeah.
about 6. What do you think of the past 6 sessions, and how do you see? Do you see how much you've changed from when we started, as compared to how your character is now? Do you think that your character changed for the better or for the worst?
Um, well, I definitely think it was for the better because I care more about my team now and like the people around me instead of being a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
Um, and hmm,
I'll give you a
I'm
moment to
sorry,
think.
I have nothing else. I was going to go somewhere else, but I lost my train of thought.
All right. So, uh, well, I'll ask you this as well. So, still looking back at the past 6 sessions, what did you start off with? Like, what did you start off thinking, and are you glad that we changed it from pretty much a joke to something that I'm actually planning and writing in my spare time?
Yeah, yeah, I'm actually like really like happy with it. Like, I mean, it was gonna be a kind of a joke thing, but I was kind of hoping it would go somewhere, and I'm really glad that it did because it
And
gives me something to kind of keep like look forward to as a break from reality, and so I don't have to constantly live in the real world. It gives me a
yeah,
outlet.
yeah. So, with that question have been
Shit.
asked, I do want to ask as well. Um, what's your opinion on how I've done things thus far? Do you think I've done a good job with DMing this and house ruling a lot of things on the spot?
Yeah, you've done a really good job, even with the bullshit that we've pulled, and I have pulled because of becoming a paladin blood hunter.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. So, also with that being said, are you excited for today's session and future sessions?
I'm excited, but I'm also not because I'm scared of what you have in store. Because I know you.
You give me enough time, I'll be able to come up with an entire universe worth of content.
Yeah, you'll be able to make your own pocket dimension. Like
It's
you'll
just
have like
it's just a
everyone.
shame because originally I wanted to stream this,
Hmm.
and I actually got my computer set up to stream this like yesterday, but then I remembered that Final didn't want to because she was not
Yeah,
okay with her voice being on the internet. Now I can
yeah.
100% get behind that. Bless you, Final, for wanting to voice your opinion on stuff like that. If you were uncomfortable with it, I was going to completely stop and not do it. Now, that being said, I do want to ask if she ever does wind up disappearing from this campaign. I think I've asked this already, but I'll ask again. If she does wind up just not wanting to play this D&D session anymore, um, would you be okay with streaming this and have this being like an every other week thing that appears on my Twitch channel?
Oh, yeah, I would be perfectly okay with it. Because I think I told you about the idea because Shaggy makes like because Shaggy's able to
Yeah,
make maps like he does
he's able
vaporwave.
to he's able to 3D model as well.
Yeah, and I would really love it if he could make maps like for the D&D session so that we can like actually um, have something and because there's VR chat, and if we could put the map into VR chat and then use it so that we can actually be our characters and actively do everything uh, as ourselves, so we like it would be a lot more like like so like
It
if
would
someone wanted to
be
say something to someone in private, they could. If we needed to not hear a piece of a conversation and it was behind like a door or something or in another room, we could do that. Like it would be a lot easier and uh, be a lot more immersive. Like it's like we're actually in the world.
so. Um, seeing as how you said that, I want to say something. So I set up um, the Discord server not just so we can like talk to each other and whatnot, but for actual D&D's sakes, I want to set up like a whisper chat for voice chat. That way, when we're
Yeah.
actually doing the campaign, you guys, if you want to talk to someone in private, you ask them to go with you down to the whispers, and once you're done, you guys can come back. And obviously, I'm going to be doing stuff with the two people or however many people are still there. I want to do stuff like that because it just makes it fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's all the instrument.
So
Um, yeah.
you put your take on it if you want.
Um, but yeah, that's also a good idea, and it also does help have that factor of everyone. Uh, like there will be like possible secrets within like the group, and you don't have to worry about having to like try and type it all out. You can just step to the side and uh, do it with ease.
Yeah, I want to get that stuff set up before today's session. So, I already asked about the whole me putting things in my bio, right?
Yeah.
What do you think if I were to actually, like, record stuff and, like, so something I want to do is I want to pretty much do, like, cover pages and
Hmm.
just, like, just put them on my channel of just, like, this campaign and just some things that are happening around this. Pretty much people that you've met, people that you haven't met, just like not mentioning by name but giving their general description. That'll tell me who wants to actually be involved with this world and wants to learn more about it in private, and just by people watching it I'll know if I actually should continue doing it. But
Yeah.
I mean, what's your opinion on that?
I'm sorry. Brain went poof. Um, so you said having like cover images?
Like cover pages, like pretty much like filler, but without the filler, because it's going to be world stuff that actually happens
Yeah.
and stuff in the past that has happened as well.
So like I can't wrap my head around it. I'm sorry.
Um, let's say
I'm having
that.
trouble.
Okay, let's say I bring in like a character from One Piece, right?
Hmm.
Or hold on, actually, let's say I bring in a character that has been here for a while, like William, and I were to do something like record a video, pretty much saying what William does, and having different NPCs interact with him as an NPC and just talk to him, and release that as a video, and pretty much like you guys would get like a history lesson of what's happened previously, what William knows that he hasn't told you guys before he died.
Okay, so like, so something for us to look at to learn more about the history of like where the whole campaign, basically.
Yeah, pretty much like I'll do like certain characters like Vosh. Vosh has a friend named Argano and On, and I want to do stuff about them in private, like stuff in history with them before they met
Mhm.
Vosh as a character.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be very. I can't word right now.
I know what you try.
That would actually be pretty cool, and it would be nice so we can also like so to also like if we did forget something, we could be reminded.
Yeah, you can always just look if that's if I do that. You can always just look and see what I've done, what I haven't done. And I do actually want to pretty much like make I want to make maps of this campaign, but it's proving rather difficult without spending like $100 to get access to decent D&D map makers.
Oh yeah,
Without having
because
to
D&D is a big platform. Like it's a whole thing, and so everything's going to be expensive.
yeah. So I am thinking about it. I have like $150, so I could technically buy that. So, but if I do, I do want to know that if you guys would actually enjoy me actually putting forth effort and making like fucking well thought out maps.
Yeah.
So this is more or less a question of like interest. So if let's say just if this were to go and turn into a stream that happens every Thursday or every other Thursday, I'm planning on doing this either weekly or bi-weekly. So if this were to happen pretty much weekly or bi-weekly, how do you think this would fare in your eyes as like an actual enjoyment?
Oh no, I think this would be really enjoyable with the right. Because even if it's not like for everyone, it's still like it's still funny, and there is a lot of like people who do stuff on Twitch, D&D related. So I'm sure we could get a really good like community and everything. Because there's like Critical Role, and that's like a whole. I think it's a whole YouTube series. I never really watched it, but I do know like
It's
there is a.
also a animated series now on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it's the Legends of Vox Machina. I'm pretty sure that's Critical Role as well. Now, I just want to say that
wow.
this whole campaign, none of us are anywhere near Critical Role levels of roleplay.
Oh yeah, no.
But the one
No,
thing
we're
that I
not.
do, the one thing that I do like to include, and I'm glad that my players have actually started doing it as well, is I enjoy it when like characters say what people say as their character what they're going to do. And
Yeah.
if you like critically roll something, I'm going to let's just say you get like a nat 20 to put in simpler
Yeah.
terms. If you get a nat 20 on a 2 hit, I'm going to ask you, how do you hit him? Other than
Yeah.
that, I'm going to assume you go for a lethal strike somewhere. I'm going to ask, where do you
Yeah.
strike?
So we have our
But
own
I'm
way.
not going to ask, how do you do it? And of course, your critical attacks will always be like, once you get like a critical attack, like, let's say I'll use Angel as an example. Let's say Angel critically succeeds on a 2 hit and kills a character, like an enemy, right? And he says that he pretty much just crushes them by summoning 2 earthquakes in his hands and just crushing them like that. Well, then I'm going to make that as a finishing move that he gets. It's going to be something of more or less trust that you guys won't just use willy nilly, but I want to make stuff like that as a thing, and honestly, I will enjoy watching you guys like come up with move names, because this is an isekai. I'm surprised no
Yeah.
one has done an isekai themed attack yet.
Oh yeah.
Like
I have not thought about.
this is an anime themed D&D. I'm surprised no one hasn't done uh, like
I, I was legit just thinking. I wonder if I can get ODM gear and like do like what Levi does.
vampire death grip or some shit like that. I'm surprised no one's done something like that yet. And I've
Yeah.
looked everywhere. I haven't really heard anyone do something like that for a D&D, which I'm
Yeah.
intrigued on actually including like names of moves and whatnot. Like giving certain moves different names.
Yeah.
So going back to last session, after you guys had done what you guys did to Watson and pretty much have left Mushwick, and you guys are waiting for the portal to open. How did you enjoy my little Mr. Popo act?
That was that was funny. That was
I
definitely a joy.
I want to pretty much like, this is an isekai. I can pretty much include whatever the fuck I want, so long as it's not
Yeah.
copyrighted. And Mr. Popo can be anyone's name.
Oh yeah.
They don't need to know about it.
Yeah.
People who own that company behind me. Well, that franchise behind me.
Yeah.
But pretty much I want to include like as like when you guys were originally fighting the pretty much the mannequins. I'm glad I got to include Aaron Yeager, and I'm glad that I actually portrayed him pretty decently as a character. Because I didn't
Yeah.
know Aaron turned into such a genocidal maniac, but I'm glad I played him like he was.
Oh yeah.
So, with stuff like that, would you be like okay if I got like weird characters that are kind of minute, not really heard of characters, and brought them into this
Oh, yeah.
campaign?
Yeah, that would be fucking cool. Cause yeah, like the characters that don't have enough screen time, you're giving them their screen time.
Like, and I also want to state that as a DM, I think that the style that I'm doing for this campaign, having multiple worlds, I, I spoke to Shaggy about it. Shaggy said he doesn't really know how he feels about it just yet because he wants like a feel of familiarity. But
Yeah.
my whole thing is, once you do what you set out to do, go somewhere else and get a new task to do. Just don't stay still and put yourself too long in one spot. Like,
Yeah.
do what you want. You're free to do as you will. You can, hell, you guys can decide to not go through the portal today if you want. You guys don't have to go. You can stay.
I thought there was a time limit on that portal though. Like,
Yeah, the portal, when it opens, it's only open for about 10 hours and then it closes again. Or until the
when does it open
next.
though? Like, what's the time frame it open? Like when it opens and everything?
As soon as this next session starts, the person who knows how to cast the spell will cast it and the portal will open. These portals open when people who know how to traverse through these realms go to these spots.
What?
And
Ooh.
the only person that knows how to do that is one of Vash's friends, Han.
Um. Okay. So wait. Do we know him? Or
Do
is
you guys
like?
know On yet? The only one that
Yeah.
knows On is Angel. Because we did a little side story with him and Vash where we pretty much said that Angel went out scouting. So the time frame goes training for 2 weeks. William dies at the end of those 2 weeks. You guys figure out what you guys were going to do. 3 days pass. And during those three
Yeah.
days, Angel goes to this place, meets Vosh and his little companion group, and then they obviously now Angel's back after scouting, so he pretty much knows a small lay of the land and knows some people that he can talk to.
Yeah. Um. Because I've already got an idea for what to do. Because if we could, I mean, we can wait, and then we'd have to go find Han again and uh, get him to open it because we don't know how.
Assuming he doesn't die, pretty much.
Assuming he doesn't die. And I
I
was
think it would
like,
come down to
because
like somebody who knows how to do magic to cast this portal spell that you have to
yeah,
pretty much break into and steal this book unless it's been taught to you.
yeah, and um, and if we did want to stay, we could. I was because that the reason why I asked is we knew him, and it was because I was making sure we didn't have to like kidnap him or something. Because I was thinking like, what if if we hadn't known him, what if we kidnap him, make him teach us the spell, so we can go anytime we want?
He might teach you. You just gotta figure out what you want to say to him.
Yeah.
So, as I stated when I first started recording this, we can enter a phrase of ask the DM shit. I'd put it up on screen, but I don't want to bother doing a star like. I'm pretty much just gonna do this
Yes.
unedited besides the pop up of the map. Speaking of
I'm
which,
thinking that's enough.
I did send the map to Shaggy, so he has a map of pretty much the 10 nearby islands. I'll put that on screen here, and I'll also put Shaggy's name here as well. Actually, I'll just put everyone's name around this area right about now. So here should be Angel, aka Soul. Here should be Scarlet, aka Scarlet and or Valentine, aka Jinx, Sonya, and Shaggy and Vash. And all the little voices that live inside my head, otherwise known as Sam, Hod, Watson. Yeah, there's a lot
A
of
lot of
people.
people. A lot of people. Jasmine.
You gotta be insane to talk to them.
Oh yeah.
It's okay when you talk to yourself, especially if you're talking into a camera, but then it gets a
Hmm.
little bad when you hear responses.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When you hear a response, you should be worried.
With that being said, Jinx.
Yep.
So, with my little way I do combat, right? How it's like if you guys plan it out perfectly, you can pretty much avoid a non-necessary combat. Do you like that system?
Yeah, it's a good way to keep it so that people don't. You just don't have to have combat. Like you don't have to risk losing so much health or having someone die on you or
In other words, to
like
remove murder hobos.
yeah. And so that we don't just go in guns blazing like the mayor wanted us to
Mm-hmm.
and kill a village of innocent people.
Mm-hmm. And that technically does mean that you guys have that town as a safe place. Like, if you guys
Yeah.
get into trouble, you guys can just go there and hide out. I want to make sure you guys get stuff like that because stuff like that can be very important, whether people want to accept it or not. It's always good to make sure that you have someone you can go to.
Oh yeah.
And with that said, Jinx,
Mhm.
how would you feel if we like, as I previously stated about the whole like different areas? You can still hear me, correct?
And say that again.
So you know how I was mentioning about pretty much there being like different areas that you guys will be able to go to and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, so how would you feel if obviously there's an Attack on Titan, but how would you feel if I had like a Dragon Ball style universe? Or like
Um,
I'm already doing a cyberpunk world that I've yet to name.
yeah. Um, I like it, and it's it would be really fun to see how everything is like. It's like being able to be in those worlds or feel like you're in them would definitely be cool. I would say I'm not a Dragon Ball Z watcher, so I wouldn't know if there was I wouldn't know anything about it if there was one. But that would also be interesting for Scarlet to like look at and be like, what the fuck is this place? Like what?
Why the fuck are these guys
Who the hell?
screaming for 2.5 hours?
Why is there a fight lasting for 5 days? um, but no, it would be really cool because we could have obviously Attack on Titan. We could do like we could have like SAO like have there be like headsets and stuff like for like Scarlet be like
Well, that's mainly going to be in the cyberpunk world.
oh yeah
Stuff
yeah
like that's more
yeah
cyberpunky, so that's why it's going to be hit.
it has a Halo world meets Master Chief. Whoa.
Chief, mind telling me what you're doing at that Discord server? Sure.
Chief, mind telling me what you're doing in that Snuggie? Sir, going blanky mode.
Sure. Go with Blakey mode.
Have a whole Minecraft world everywhere. There's like blocks everywhere. It's like what? Everyone gets turned into Minecraft character.
Yeah, honestly, stuff like that, I'm fine with like pulling out stuff like that. Like, I was originally planning on obviously Cyberpunk and the place you guys are going to, which is One Piece. And then I pretty much wrote in Attack on Titan after realizing I've already made Eren as a character. I may as well give him a place of origin. So
Mhm.
that's going to be there. So technically, if you guys don't pick up one of these powers from the One Piece universe, you guys could technically get one of the Titans that you see in the
Yeah.
show. Like, you won't be able to get the Attack Titan or Founding Titan because that's
Mhm.
kind of shoved in that one over there. But you guys could
Mhm.
technically get the Female Titan, the Armor Titan, Colossal Titan, Jaw, so on and so forth.
That colossal titan's gonna be whack, and you're gonna have to be careful using it because you could kill your whole entire
Mm-hmm.
fucking team.
Which is gonna be
It's
funny.
like, oops, I transformed. Everyone's dead now. It's
Man,
like, God damn it, Scarlet.
I really want to remove this pain from my. Everyone's dead.
Can you imagine? Okay, so you know how like the first like transformation is never good. Like you're basically feral.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what it's like for the Colossal Titan on the first transformation?
Well,
Because
from what I remember from the anime, it pretty much was just they inject you with the serum, you go bonkers, and if you eat somebody that has one of those Titan abilities in them, then you regain control of yourself and continue back as a
you,
human.
oh no, that's not what I'm saying. Because well, yeah, you become a Titan and then you get those powers, but when you first transform into that Titan, you have no control over it. Like Aaron, when he first transformed, uh, he went crazy. Like he killed Titans. Like he had his own like objective, but like he was still kind of he wasn't in control of
Oh
himself. He
yeah,
didn't know what he was doing.
like he was pretty
Because
much
every Titan, yeah, every Titan has that. Like that's your first transformation goes like that. So like, what is it like to go through that as the Colossal Titan?
honestly,
Could you
honest,
imagine?
honestly, if this were like D&D ruling, this is how I'd rule it. I would pretty much rule it as a wisdom check, and if you succeeded like at a 20, if you critically succeed, what the fuck? If you critically succeeded the roll, then I would say that you are your Titan. You have consciousness over it, but you would only get that directly afterwards. Pretty much, if
Yeah.
you fail it constantly, over time it slowly gets lower. But if you pretty much
Yeah.
continuously fail it, you will be a feral Titan, and more than
Uh,
likely will
yeah.
attack. Pretty much, I'll just rule it like like werewolves, where when they lose control, they just attack the first non-player character they see.
Yeah.
Which in this case, if Sam's up front, bye Sam. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah.
I could also change it
Um,
and house rule it to be where you just attack the nearest whatever.
yeah. Um, and actually, one of my cousin is going through a campaign right now, or he's going to, with like a couple of his a few of his words a few of his friends, and it's actually kind of funny because the first boss fight is gonna be against him, and he's gonna because he has attack titan shifting ability, and so whenever he chooses, he can become his titan, and they have to like beat him so he can come back to be human again. And I was like, that's fucking cool. That's a really cool concept. So I've been in a really big Attack on Titan kick since I started playing Attack on Quest. It's so fucking fun.
I haven't noticed. I mean, honestly, if I were to give you my honest opinion, I I really want to do this next session. By the way, we technically have 20 minutes left,
Yeah,
so honestly, I
I'm gonna have
think
to charge my headphones because
ooh,
they're oh shit because they're almost dead. I'd rather not have everyone listening in on what the hell's going on. Sorry, I'm stuck in our mine right now because there's zombies. Decided to hop on the realm. But no, this session should be interesting, especially having Shaggy's character here. Is this the first? I forget. Is this the first session with Shaggy, or is this the?
the first session with him. Yes.
Okay, so we all are gonna get to experience.
Well,
This should be interesting.
me and Soul have already met him, but this is the first time
Oh
that
yeah,
you and Sonya get to meet Vosh Podfas and his little companion group of three.
fine. This should be really interesting.
Alright, so they're dead. Let me check Soul. So Final and Shaggy are already in the Shattered Realms. I'm checking up with Soul. If Soul is here, that's great.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Soul about an hour ago till he had to go. Final takes before we go and get everything prepared for today's session. Um, what, since this is being recorded now, what do you like about this campaign thus far? What do you dislike? And what would you do differently as the DM?
Honestly, I like just about everything about it. Like everyone has their own like the way the turns and everything work and how we're able to still talk and everything. But that's just normal D&D.
Actually, some people don't allow that.
That is so weird. My DM actually, or my other DM, actually allows us like only a couple like sentences because the time frame of everything is different.
I've had people pretty much bust out talk no jutsu. Talk for 30
But
goddamn minutes, but actually only talks for 2.5 seconds.
yeah, I'd say maybe have a little more like stuff going on like outside of the main like session, like main yeah, outside of the main session, like have a lot more like side stuff happening with like the solo things.
Yeah, that also just relies on your guys' willingness to put your character in that type of position where they have to go out
My
and
friend Aqua.
find stuff like this.
What do you need? What? My friend Aqua. What do you need?
But
Sorry.
final statements being said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say one final thank you to Jinx for joining me on today's little podcast thing. I hope to do this more often than what I have done in the past, since my last time uploading has been about a year. Um, I just want to say, Jinx, thank you so much for coming out here and allowing me to take about an hour or two of your time.
Of course.
But yeah, I would like to thank everyone who sees this. Thank you so much for being here and watching this. There will be more like this popping up relatively soon. Just be on the lookout for stuff like this. Thank you once again, and I just
Thank
want to say,
you.
one last thing before I wind up disappearing. You can always just subscribe. That will help me out a bunch, and hopefully, next time you see this, we'll be 2 sessions deeper into the shithole we call Dungeons and Dragons. I will talk to you all later. Bye bye.